talking about Israel, and now you're asking me if Israel's committing genocide. What? Get this idiot, this moron off the show. You are such a dumbass. I can't even have a conversation with you. Oh, my God. Oh, these people are so stupid. So the guy that's calling into the show said that I called the Young Turks, in a general term, called them anti-Semitic. I asked him to send the clip. He sends the clip over to me. I called out the Young Turks, and then I mentioned Alex Jones's name, and I said anti-Semitic. Never in that clip that you sent me did I say the Young Turks are anti-Semitic. That was the deal that we had. I did not say that. I mentioned the Young Turks, and then in the middle of mentioning that, I mentioned Alex Jones, and I said anti-Semitic. So you're wrong, and I know you probably won't be a man and admit it. And I say it once again, I do believe Alex Jones is anti-Semitic. I think Alex Jones is a racist.
Yeah, I don't know why you brought up Alex Jones.
I brought up Alex Jones because the clip that you sent me, I said Alex Jones, and then I said anti-Semitic. What the hell is wrong with you? You sent me a clip, and it shows that you're an imbecile. You're an imbecile. You're an imbecile. Those are my words. I brought up the young. Hey, dummy. I brought up Young Turks. Hey, dummy, shut up. You're wasting my time. You sent me the clip, and you specifically said I called the Young Turks anti-Semitic. To be clear, once again,
you can't spin this, Ryan.
Hey, pod this idiot down, you stupid moron. You sent me the clip, and in the clip I say the Young Turks, and then I mention Alex Jones before I say anti-Semitic. You're obviously an idiot, okay? You're wasting my time on the air. Why don't you just admit to everybody that you're anti-Semitic? What do you think about Israel? Tell us, what do you think about Israel? Let's see if we could have a.
You said the Young Turks.
Are you willing to have a? Are you? Excuse me. What do you think about Israel? Why don't we expose you for who you are? What do you think about Israeli people?
Israel, they are performing a genocide. I know you don't.
No. I didn't say the Israeli government.
Even the
hey, dumbass. Hey, dumbass. I need you to pay attention. I didn't say the Israeli government. I agree with you.
Oh, we love Israel. Everybody should love Israel, of course.
Okay.
What do you think about Palestine?
Hold on a second. What do you think about Israel? Do you think it should exist?
Of course.
Okay, good. Well, guess what? The people on the Young Turks have made statements on their show that they think it's stolen land.
Well, then you haven't watched it in years.
And they don't think, actually,
I've not heard that quote in 2 years.
Do you have his number? Because I have his number and I text him. Are you aware of that, sir?
No, I wish I had his number.
Yeah, I wish you did. You don't have any number.
The guy.
Yeah, okay. I'm sure you do, sir. But you asked me what I think about Palestinians in what sense, sir?
Do you think they have a right to exist?
Yeah. Have I ever said anything? Would you like to lie again? Have I ever said anything to the contrary of that? Have I ever said that?
I never said that you said anything like that. I'm
Why would you ask me a stupid question that you think you're asking me if
I
don't think
everyone says, what do you think about Israel?
Okay, first of all, I'm not everyone.
How about the state of Palestine? Would you like that?
I'm not everyone, so stop making generalizations. Number two, I'll answer your question and say I think everybody has the right to exist. I've said on this show before, clearly you say you listen to my show, but clearly you don't listen to what I say. As I've said, an innocent Palestinian child dying is just as bad as an innocent Israeli person losing his or her life. I've been very fair and very clear on that issue.
I know.
Okay,
very good, Brian. Do you think that
if you know, then why would you ask me my opinions on Palestinians? I just said yes. What is wrong with you?
Because Israel's doing an ethnic cleansing.
Okay,
so
let's go into that for a moment. If you believe Israel is committing genocide, why do they allow right now, as we speak, millions of Palestinians to live a life of freedom in Israel? If they truly were committing, no. First of all, that would be talking about the Holocaust. And if there were millions of Jewish people living in Germany and they were free, it would be the exact same thing. You obviously have no idea what you're talking about, okay? Now, if you think it's genocide, I really don't care what word you use to describe it. When you take an innocent person's life, it's absolutely atrocious and it's horrible. I am not a Benjamin Netanyahu fan. I am also not a fan of the Israeli government. I am very clear on that. And quite frankly, I don't care whether you think it's genocide or not. Is there anything else very productive or intelligent that you'd like to bring up on the show on a debate? Or would you like to continue to make yourself sound like the fool that you are?
You defended that it's not a genocide because they didn't use their nukes.
Excuse me. Did I bring up the word nukes in this conversation?
You did a couple days ago.
Okay, so here's why. First of all, you say the word defend because you're an imbecile. I will repeat myself once again. I do not defend the Israeli government. I believe Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal. What part of that is defending? Would you like to change the wording that you're using?
You said you don't think it's a genocide because Israel hasn't used their.
Here's why I do not think it's a genocide, and I will repeat myself once again, and please get the MAGA wax out of your ears. I know you claim I'm not a Trump supporter, but you certainly sound like one, sir. So I'll repeat myself once again to you. There are millions. Okay, just take a break with the Tucker Carlson laugh for a second and pay attention, okay, sir? I just said that millions of people are living in Israel. They are living in Israel.
We're not talking about Israel.
Okay, excuse me. What do you mean?
By the way.
What do you mean we're not talking about Israel? You just asked me if Israel was committing genocide, you dope. Okay, pay attention.
Yeah, in Gaza.
Okay, what about Gaza, sir? What is your question about Gaza? Go ahead. What is your question?
You don't think it's a genocide, and why?
You just said we're not talking about Israel, and now you're asking me if Israel's committing genocide. What? Get this idiot, get this moron off the show. You are such a dumbass. I can't even have a conversation with you. Oh my God. Oh, these people are so stupid. Golly. Let's go to Andy. Andy is next up on PTL. Hey, Andy, what's up?
Oh, is this Brian?
No, you want to speak to Brian?
Please hold.
Oh, here we go again.
Is this Andy? Is this Andy?
Please hold.
This is Andy.
Okay, I'm sorry, Andy. Go right ahead. I'm just teasing you. Go ahead.
All right. Oh, here we go. You're not playing this game on me. You did this to me last time.
I'm not playing a game.
Okay,
I'm
you're
not
talking to Brian.
Andy, let me be very clear.
Leonard.
Hold on.
All
Andy,
right.
let me be very clear so somebody like you can understand. Andy, you're live on the radio right now. You're on a syndicated show. You're speaking to a guy by the name of Brian Shapiro. Did I make that clear enough for you? Go ahead now.
Okay. Now here we go with the constructive criticism. Are you ready?
Go right ahead.
All right. Here's the problem. The problem is you want these right-wing guys to interview because you want access, so you glaze them, like George Santos.
I glaze them?
You let him go on and on and on and on.
No, that's not true. They blaze themselves. If they call and they have a good quality point and they're making a good point, then Brian will let them make it.
So let me respond. Sir, I'm trying to respond to what you just said in a very respectful manner. First of all, something that you are very unaware of because you're clearly not a radio business and you didn't know how much time I had with him. So let me educate you. When I had George Santos coming on the show, I had a maximum of 15 minutes. I don't even think I got that. In a 15-minute conversation, and the reason why I wanted to have him on was to not debate about policy or how horrible Donald Trump is. It was to talk about his pardon. That took about 10 minutes of the interview. We had a little bit of debate. I did not have time to go at it with him. Now, if George gave me an hour or a long-form debate that I had with Myron Gaines and Tim Pool and those types of conversations, then I would have had more time to have a conversation with him about things that I disagree with policy. When you have 15 minutes in a 15-minute interview,
about policy,
sir, it was about, I just told you, it was about his pardon. And I asked him about Marjorie Taylor Greene because there were rumors that Marjorie was the reason why he was pardoned. I asked him if he would actually pay back the money that he stole from people. That was the logist of the interview, sir. In long-form interviews, and by the way, it wasn't my idea to have him on for 15 minutes. It's all he was willing to give me. I would have rather had him on for 45 minutes or an hour to be able to have a real long-form debate with, by the way, with some people that I do. So that wasn't me glazing George Santos. Also, you might disagree with my opinions on George Santos. I think he did some horrible things. I don't think he deserved to be pardoned. I also don't believe that he deserved to be in solitary confinement. There had to be somewhere in the middle. I also told him that you should pay back the people that you stole from. Now, I disagree with George on a number of policy issues, but I didn't have him on to talk about policy issues. I had him on to talk about his pardon. Now, does that clear things up for you at all, or do you still think I glaze George Santos?
You glazed George Santos.
Okay, so if he called you a liar, if he called Brian a liar like the last person did, it would have went much differently. Am I right?
So how did I glaze George Santos? After my explanation to you,
George Santos and Tim Pool.
Let's start with George. Let's start with George Santos, and I'm not going to tolerate your homophobic jokes. Okay, so let's go back to George Santos, and then I'm happy to have a Tim Pool conversation with you. Be specific. What did I say or do? Be specific. What did I say or do that would lead you to believe that I glazed George Santos? Go ahead.
Okay, listen. Hold on a minute. I have a job, right? I don't remember everything you said last week.
Okay, so you're making no. Hold on. No, Pod, you down. Sir, when you call into a radio show and you make a claim, you should, and you call somebody something. In this case, you're saying I glazed somebody. You should be able to at least come up with one or two things that I did in that very short 15-minute interview.
He was talking about how great Trump was, and
you think I agreed?
In the heart of hearts. You can't let him go on your show just because you want access.
He wasn't okay. So first of all,
lie after
okay.
lie.
So first of all, So first of all, you clearly didn't hear anything I told you in the explanation. No, you didn't, because if you did, you would understand. Either that or you're not very smart. Number two, I have George Santos's cell phone number. We've talked privately off the air. He will come on my show when I need him to come on my show. Lately, he's been a pretty busy guy. So it's not about access. You're also wrong about that. George has my. You're the one who talked about access. You're saying I had him on because I needed access. Okay, so you can't come up with anything that I said particularly in that interview.
He said it was a week ago and he can't remember.
Yeah, you can't remember.
But he called to talk about what you said. That makes no sense.
Okay, then guess what? If you have other things going on, then don't call into a show and make a claim. Don't come onto a show. Don't come onto a show and make a claim when you can't back it up with facts. Now, you also just said, sir, I know you have a job, but you also just said that I glazed Tim Pool. How did I glaze Tim Pool? Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm waiting.
It's not my job.
It's not your job. Okay, pod the idiot down.
But he called to talk about it.
So idiot, let me explain to you something. I didn't ask you to call into the show and make claims about me glazing people, okay? You're the one who called into the show. For example, if I called into Sean Hannity's show, for example, which I wouldn't, but if I did, and I say, you wear the Donald Trump knee pads 24/7. He said, give me some examples of why you feel that way. And I responded by saying, well, I work. I don't have any examples in front of me. You would call me an idiot, and rightfully so. Sir, you are an idiot. You call into a show. You're just like MAGA. You can't come up with any examples when you say I glaze over people. And by the way, you mentioned the Tim Pool Russia thing. I think that's something that you just mentioned, which, by the way, I've had private conversations with him. When somebody invites me on a show to have spirited debate on policy, it's not spirited debate on his personal financial dealings or my personal financial dealings. That wasn't something he wanted to talk about, and it's his show. I'm willing to get into debates with him. We talked about a number of different issues, and never did I glaze any of the topics when we talked about it. In fact, I probably disagree with him on anything. Now, sir, I understand you have a job, so you probably need to get back to your job and make those glazed donuts. What do you think about that?
He should be more prepared.
Why don't you be more prepared when you call into the show?
It's not my job. I'm not on the radio.
So why don't you go back to your job, you freaking moron?
If he's going to call, he should be prepared. What do you mean it's not his job? Those were his questions. Like you said, you weren't feeding him questions. He was asking you, and then he said, I can't actually remember what he said. Then why call in? Why try to make a point?
Yeah, you glaze.
Is he a MAGA?
Let me be very clear, sir. I think you
glaze MAGA.
I think you glaze over me every single day. I think you pleasure yourself to me every single day. And I don't know, maybe you have a fetish for the young Turks and you want to get that guy in the bedroom with you. I don't know. But, I found out it was the last caller, not this caller, both idiots. I don't know. You think I glaze over people. See, there's a difference between being respectful to somebody when you have a 15-minute interview and glazing over somebody. And what this guy feels.
No, you're glazing.
Okay, so go back to your job, sir, whatever you do. By the way, what do you do for a living? Let me ask you.
What do
you do for a living? What do you do for a living, sir? You've had 15.
Andy.
So why don't you flush yourself down the toilet?
Hey, Brian,
flush yourself down the toilet. You're a terrible plumber. Flush yourself down the toilet.
Are you a car salesman? Are you a used car salesman?
No, I'm a plumber.
You're a turd is what you are. You're a turd. Flush yourself down the toilet.
No, hold on a minute.
I respect plumbers.
Wait a minute.
You turd.
I'm a turd.
Yeah.
Okay, Brian.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You want an example?
Yeah, plumber. Yeah,
is his name Andy? His name's not Andy, right?
The Russia tenant media thing was not about his personal finances.
Yes, it was.
He was going on and on and on about how terrible Ukraine was when he was getting that money from Russia.
Gotcha.
You should have done the research.
So do you have? No, I did do the research. In fact, I know a lot more than you.
No, you did, because you had no idea.
Okay, so what was he said? What was he told to say? What is the evidence that you have that he was told to spread Russian propaganda?
Oh, wait a minute. He was saying Ukraine was.
No, I didn't ask you. I didn't ask you what he said. I need you to pay attention to the question. I know people like you.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I need you to. That would mean that you have to listen.
I'm waiting.
Where's your evidence? That direct evidence, and by the way, that Russia paid him to spread propaganda. And my second part of the question is, why did the Joe Biden administration drop charges if there was wrongdoing? What's the matter? You can't explain.
No, I'm answering the question.
No, you're not answering it.
So you're telling me you trust Benny Johnson?
No. Hold on. I asked you a question. I didn't say I trust Benny Johnson. Answer my question. I didn't say I trusted David Rubin. Answer my question. Why did they, if you think there was wrongdoing, criminal wrongdoing, and there was criminality involved here, by the way, if an adversary pays you to spread disinformation, that's against the law. Joe Biden originally charged Tim Pool, and then his own DOJ dropped the charges. If there was wrongdoing in a criminal fashion, please explain to me why they dropped the charges. Go.
I will. Are you ready?
Yeah, I've been waiting. Go ahead.
Okay. How come Merrick Garland?
No. You don't answer the question with a question, dumbass. It has nothing to do with that. Answer me the question. Why did Joe Biden's DOJ drop the charges on Tim Pool if you're claiming there was criminality? Go.
Biden's DOJ didn't have a hair on their ass. That's
okay. So,
come on.
All right, get off my show. You're an absolute
loser. They didn't have hair on their ass. Really? That's your response?
I wish the plumber would be flushed down the toilet. Oh my God, what a moron!
He needs to do some research.
This guy didn't even know that the Biden administration dropped the charges. You see, sir, I think we know who did their research and who didn't. Don't call
Is
into
that a
the
legal
show.
term? He didn't have a hair on his ass. Is that
Exactly.
a legal reasoning?
These people
is
are
that common sense? Is that factual? You need to read and study and then call back when you're a little more prepared to make the point.
I think he was
trying to make.
I think he was glazing.
That was terrible.
He was glazing over.
He glazed over Brian. He glazed over you.
He glazed. You are so dumb, and you're comparing somebody who gets on the road, drives drunk, and puts everybody's lives at risk to a woman who could be in this country for 30 or 40 years, who pays taxes, who's trying to do it the right way, getting tackled outside a courtroom, and some people being sent to El Salvador prisons. You are an imbecile. Now I've given you no. It's my turn. No, it's my turn now. No, it's my turn now. It's my turn now because I'm educating you.
Brian, hey, it's me, the #1 caller, 7 years running on PTL, voted #1 caller. Anyway,
that joke is very old and it's not funny. But go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm calling to say, damn it, Brian, you came across completely likable today. I love the way you gave credit to the other guys, and it's really aggravating me because you're coming across completely normal or completely likable.
Well, when do I? So give me
an example. Tell you that.
Okay. Well, thank you for the compliment. When do I come across as not normal? Give me an example.
All the other times.
Well, give me an example.
So,
give me an example. Let's talk about it. Give me an example of like I say something on the air and you're like, oh boy, that's not normal. Like, just give me. I just want to hear from you. Give me like an example. I think that's fair.
An example too is way too much on Kamala Harris. Worst candidate in the last 20 years.
I haven't brought her up. I haven't. Hold on.
DEI hire,
hold on.
Still won't admit
I haven't brought her up the entire show. When she was running for
office.
No,
you just said over time.
Okay, so what did I say about? Okay, so does that mean that almost half the country isn't normal that voted for her as well? Is that what you're saying?
Well, they didn't vote because she was a likable candidate or she had a good message.
So you know the minds of every single person that voted for Kamala Harris. So what have I said about Kamala Harris that would lead you to believe that I'm not normal? Because you haven't really been specific. What have I said about Kamala Harris on this show that would lead you to believe that I'm not normal? What did I say? Tell me. Be specific.
Not normal, but one thing would be is the DE hire part when Biden says I need the best platform.
So first of all, Kamala never said that. You said my support for Kamala Harris, and I just asked you what I said specifically. Now, Joe Biden didn't say the only reason why she picked Kamala Harris is because she's black. He said that would be one of the criteria, but he did not say that.
No, he said same with the Supreme Court. He did the exact same thing.
He didn't say that was the only. Okay, but wait a second. We're getting a little bit off kilter here. What have I said on this show that you would consider not normal? You brought up Kamala Harris, and you couldn't come up with one specific thing I said about her.
Okay, the other thing I say is
you haven't made one valid point yet. Give me an example of something I said that you think is not normal. I'm giving you another opportunity. Go ahead.
Okay, so the border, when you say all brown people are being, millions of brown people are being deported.
Okay, hold on. We're going to stop you right there. We're going to stop you right there, and we're going to be factually accurate. I never said all brown people were being deported. I said that there are people in this country that are not getting due process, whether they be brown people, white people, whatever. There are people in this country, it's not an opinion, it's a fact, that are not getting due process. Are you mean to tell me that that's not true? You think everybody that's being deported is getting due process? Maybe you're not the normal one. What have I said that would lead you to believe that I'm not normal? What I've said is not. You haven't given me one thing. You haven't been right about one thing yet. Go ahead.
So the due process part isn't really true, because the fact is,
yes, it is really true.
Deported 8 million.
Okay, hold on. We're not going to. Okay, so first of all, you're bringing up Barack Obama as a whataboutism, but I will still answer your stupid whataboutism, sir. Okay. Barack Obama did not send people to El Salvador prisons and non-violent criminals to El Salvador type prisons without due process. So you are wrong about that. Dr. Phil wasn't there with a microphone making a spectacle of it. He also didn't have ICE agents not identifying themselves around the country. You also didn't see agents that are not identifying themselves that were outside of courtrooms tackling people that are non-violent criminals. So we're going to stop you bringing up Barack Obama because there is no comparison. Now, going back to what you said about due process. It is absolutely, positively a fact. And I will give you an example. Some of the people they sent to El Salvador prisons, they sent there only because they said they didn't like their tattoos. That is not due process. What happens is after you arrest somebody, if they're undocumented, they have their day in court to prove that they are not in a gang and that they are not part of a gang. Many of those people, the majority of them that were sent to those prisons, did not get the opportunity to do so, hence not getting due process. In our Constitution, it says any person has the right to due process. It doesn't say any citizen. So, sir, I would disagree, and I think most people would disagree with your assessment that what I am saying is, quote, not normal. What did I say in that statement that is not normal?
Due process could take years.
It doesn't matter if it takes. It doesn't matter if it takes 100 years. In our Constitution, there is no time limit on it. It says every person deserves the right to due process, not any citizen. So I ask you once again.
They can still.
So I ask you.
Still may get it.
So I ask.
For instance, if I commit murder, I go to jail. I didn't have
these people have not. These people. Are you seriously comparing a misdemeanor to attempted murder? That makes you an imbecile, sir. I think
if I have a DUI, how about a DUI?
A DUI is not a misdemeanor. You don't even know the difference between a misdemeanor and a felony because you're a doofus. Okay, let me tell you. No. Let me tell you. First of all, if you get pulled over for a DUI, you absolutely go to jail. You have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
If you get pulled over for a DUI, you go to jail. I didn't have my due process. Why am I in jail?
Because police officers pull you over because they believe you've committed a felony. What the hell is wrong with you? God, you are just
in all cases.
Okay.
And
so first of all,
if you're illegal,
all right, hold on a second. Hold on a second.
You've committed a crime.
Is DUI a felony or a misdemeanor?
I believe there's some cases where it could be a misdemeanor.
Oh my God, you are just so stupid, sir. You are just so dumb.
Okay, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. You are so dumb, and you're comparing somebody who gets on the road, drives drunk, and puts everybody's lives at risk to a woman who could be in this country for 30 or 40 years, who pays taxes, who's trying to do it the right way, getting tackled outside a courtroom, and some people being sent to El Salvador prisons. You are an imbecile. Now I've given you no. It's my turn. No, it's my turn now. No, it's my turn now. It's my turn now because I'm educating you.
All right, let me respond.
You don't. Of course, you don't know the difference between a misdemeanor and a felony. I wish they sent you to an El Salvador prison because, quite frankly, sir, I don't think you're smart enough to live here. Now, you said that I'm not normal. Don't me. You said that I'm not normal. You mentioned Kamala Harris. You mentioned Kamala Harris. And you mentioned no background behind it, as me supporting Kamala Harris makes me, quote, not normal. You failed there. And then you brought up Joe Biden, and then we talked about immigration, and you're such an idiot. You're such an idiot. You're such an idiot. You tried to compare and make an analogy to someone who's charged with attempted murder to someone who came in this country illegally years ago that committed a misdemeanor, which makes you a MAGA moron. So why don't you embarrass yourself further?
Illegally 30 years ago. How come you have been? It's taken over 30 years. You still can't get your citizenship in 30 years, and also. Just because
what are you talking? What are you talking? So now you're changing it to Why does it take so long? I'm so glad you asked that question, sir, being the MAGA imbecile, ill-informed idiot that you are. Let's dissect this a little bit. You think it shouldn't take 30 years. Okay. Why don't you tell me the political party that is making it more difficult and making the process last longer to become a legal citizen? I'm going to give you two choices, sir. Let's see how stupid you really are. Is it the Democrat Party or is it the Republican Party that is making it more difficult for undocumented immigrants to be naturalized? Which party is making it more difficult? You have a 50%. I didn't ask you. I didn't ask you the question. I didn't ask you about a president. I need you to focus, sir. Focus. Let's reset. You just said that you're upset. By the way, I agree with you. I think it takes way too long for somebody to be a naturalized citizen. It's way too long of a process.
Correct.
So I will ask you, we agree on something. So let me ask you this and try this once again. The question isn't specifically about a president. It's about two different parties. Let me ask it a different way so maybe somebody like you maybe can understand. Which party is the party that wants to make it easier, and make it much shorter for people to become naturalized citizens in this country? Which is the party that's trying to make it an easier process? Democrats or Republicans?
By far, the Democrats.
Okay. Thank you. All you have to do is say Democrats. I don't need your explanation. You call into this show, you want to criticize the left. You say, I'm not normal. You sound like the moron that's not normal yourself. You're the MAGA Republican. You're not a Democrat. You're a MAGA Republican. We all know that. And you just self-admitted yourself after complaining that it takes too long for people to become legal citizens. We agree on that. And you just admitted it because you had to, that the Democrat Party is trying to make it easier for people to become naturalized citizens. The Republican Party is trying to make it more difficult and put more constraints on people. And make no mistake about it, because you people always want to bring up Barack Obama. Let me be very clear on this. Barack Obama wasn't making it a charade when millions of people were deported. Barack Obama didn't have Dr. Phil there with a microphone. He didn't have Tom Homan gleefully laughing when families were being separated. Barack Obama didn't have ICE agents all across the country that weren't identifying themselves, tackling grandmothers who have been in this country for decades, trying to do it the right way in front of Home Depot or outside of courtrooms. So don't you dare make a comparison between Barack Obama and Donald Trump. Find me one video where Barack Obama and his ICE agents were deporting women in front of schools, picking up their kids. You couldn't, sir. So there is zero comparison to what Barack Obama did and what Donald Trump is doing now. Oh yeah, by the way, Barack Obama also wasn't deploying our guards and our troops to cities run by black mayors. So don't you dare make a comparison. Let me tell you something. There is no comparison. But maybe you could help me out with something else, sir.
You're on immigration.
Yeah, sir, you're talking, okay?
5,000?
Sir, nobody can hear you. Nobody can hear you, sir, so calm down. I'd like to ask you a question, okay? Let's try to reset. Is Barack Obama in the Epstein files, sir?
Nobody knows 100%.
Nobody knows 100%. Okay, that's a great answer, sir. No, he's not in the Epstein files. Has Barack to your knowledge, sir, has Barack Obama ever been accused of sexual assault?
No.
He hasn't. Okay. Has Barack Obama ever attacked Gold Star families and POWs and said he didn't respect them because they were captured?
No, but
no. There's no but. There's no but. No, there's no but. Is Barack Obama ever been an adjudicated liable abuser in a courtroom?
No, but with all that...
No. With all that being said, I'm not done yet, sir. Has Barack Obama ever been sued, thousands of lawsuits, because he didn't want black people living in his buildings? Has Barack Obama ever had that?
What difference does that make?
What difference does it make? I'll tell you what difference it makes, you dumbass, you racist bigot, you. It makes a big difference because Barack Obama is not a racist. And Donald Trump has done all these things, which means you support and you voted for the leader of the free world who is a racist, whose own father was arrested at a Klan rally. Okay? It makes a big difference because you don't care if someone who is a bigot is running the country. You want to see a bunch of brown people. Why don't you just admit it? You want to see a bunch of brown people deported, right? Don't you, sir?
You know why
don't you admit
brown people were deported? Because there wasn't millions of white people. If it was a million white people coming across,
there you go. The truth finally
comes
out. The truth finally comes out, sir. You don't want brown people in this country. You want it to make America white again. Why don't you just admit it?
That's just who was at the border. That's all. If it was,
by the way,
2 million
that is also not true.
That were white.
That is also not true. In fact, Donald Trump has welcomed those from South Africa that are 100% white who are seeking asylum
50
with open
people.
arms. Okay,
50.
Can you give me an example of 50 people that he welcomed with open arms that were seeking asylum that are black? I'm waiting. Go ahead, sir.
So you're telling me...
No. I'm asking you a question. I want you to answer it. You said you're right. I agree with you. It was 50 people, somewhere around there. Can you give me an example of 50 people or even 10 people that Donald Trump welcomed in this country with open arms that are brown people that are seeking asylum? Go.
Oh, I'm sure there was.
Oh, give me an example then. Then give me an example.
Well, you don't have an example either. But
no, you know why I don't have an example? You know why I don't have an example, dummy? Because he never did it. That's why. The reason why that was in the news. Well, I don't really care what you believe. I really don't care, sir. You've already proven yourself to be a fool. Yes, you just said. Now, first of all, it was 50 people, right? We just agreed on that. 50 South Africans. People, yeah, you said that. 100% white. And all I'm simply asking you is if you can give me the same example, to your knowledge, less or more, of people that were brown. Why didn't he do that for brown people? The reason why you can't come up with an example, and the reason why I can't come up with one, because he never has. Because Donald Trump is a racist just like you. That's why.
No, I'm sure.
Right. And I'm sure you're going to be late to your Klan rally tonight, too. I'm sure. Have a nice day, dumbass.